Ladies and gentlemen, the next presentation will start soon.
I hope you guys enjoyed your break. But now let us continue with the third team presentation from Division C. Please welcome Visio Consulting. The team will have 5 minutes to get ready and set up.
Hello.
It is not hard to make decisions when you know where your values are. Keep this statement in mind when you are at your decision time at DKSH. Mr. Guha from the Consumer Goods branch is currently raising the question of if he should venture with DKSH into e-commerce to improve the services of the company. Our definite answer is yes. Go one step further and focus on the future by remembering the past. Leverage opportunities by focusing also on risks. And innovate traditionally. We, Visio Consulting Group, consisting of me, Corinna, and my colleagues, Fleur, Maike, and Ekaterina, are happy to show you now what we worked out for you. We will show you where your value is with our strategy, the DKSH value chain, and show you how you can enhance, deliver, and receive value through it. To give you a first overview, we show you the strategy. You will become Thailand's leading e-commerce service provider by gaining a market share of 18% within 5 years. How can you do it? By implementing our tactics we will present to you and also enhancing, delivering, and receiving value to overcome industry challenges. This will give you the opportunity to improve and strengthen your current businesses and expand into new markets. Now my colleague Fleur will present to you the situational analysis.
Thank you, Corinna. To make sure that we are all on the same page, I want to discuss the current business model with you. So what do you offer the customer right now? Market expansion services and complete solutions. How do you do this? With large distribution networks and extensive market knowledge, which then make it possible for you to provide the services you do. At the moment, this is just offline services, but since trends keep on changing continuously and there's continuous innovation, it's important to jump on the booming e-commerce trend. So this is something we should keep in mind. It's an important attention point. So let me introduce to you Natcha. Natcha is a 21-year-old student from Thammasat University. She loves to hang around with her friends in the mall after school, and even when her friends are not around, she still keeps in touch with them via social media on her phone. And Natcha is not the only one. There's a lot of people who are like this. There is this social generation who, up until now, still shop in the malls. This is an important point to keep in mind. Furthermore, there's increasing demand from our current clients for e-commerce in Asia, for example. So this is a demand that we cannot ignore, and therefore it's also key in this analysis. So having the strong resources that we have, having the social community, and the emerging needs for online services from our current clients in Asia, e-commerce would be a really interesting option to go for in the future. And it would make Natcha even more happy, because then she could order anything she wants from wherever she is. She doesn't even have to go to the mall. So, of course, when you go into a new direction, it always goes hand in hand with some brand new challenges. So here are listed 5 challenges that we bumped into. However, we think that there's 3 challenges that deserve some extra attention. So for us, this would be lack of customer awareness, the weak infrastructure, and the underdeveloped financial structure. And therefore, we will focus throughout the presentation of our solutions on these 3 issues, and we will try to solve them for you. So we came up with 3 strategic initiatives. First one would be to set up an e-commerce platform. Second one would be to engage in a joint venture. And the third one would be to help our clients expand to Asia with their online shopping. And we evaluated that the third option would be the most promising option to take off. So why do we think so? We evaluated the 3 alternatives among various dimensions: immediate actionability, when can we start, the investment required upfront, the learning effects, and the growth potential. And when you then look at these 3 pie charts, you would see that the last option is indeed most interesting for now. So the main goal is that we would want to be the e-commerce market services leader in all ASEAN countries in the future. However, this is a very big region, so we had to decide on a country where to start. And therefore we opted for Thailand, because now Thailand accounts for the biggest part of the sales, and it has this really big online community, this population. Amongst other reasons, this is why we would suggest to start in Thailand.
Thank you very much, Fleur. Now let's go on. You might pose yourself the questions, why not to start in Singapore? But we believe it would be more beneficial to start in a country where we've already established a very strong foothold with just general clients, and then move into the e-commerce trend with those clients and take them on the road with us from Thailand onwards. This is what will our services look like. This is an example of a web page design, how this e-commerce service you would offer your clients would look like. So you have the website of, for example, Clark, who is already a customer of DSHK. So you can just add the country to the worldwide network there. So what do we offer our clients? We offer them a standardized e-commerce service implemented individually for each of our clients. And you stay invisible for the competition, as well as we reach a gap between the client and the customer. So now let me talk about the strategy. We want to become Thailand's leading e-commerce service provider. How do we do this? We already established a base. We have the resources, and we already have the networks in Thailand. So this is really something we can take as a foundation to build on. We have 3 pillars. First, to enhance value to the customer. Second is to deliver the value to the customer. And the third one is to receive the value. This value chain is something that we would base our strategy on. So now let me talk to you about the first pillar, which is to enhance the value for the customer. For this, we would like to focus on the social media presence in order to to grab more attention to the consumers that something like e-commerce exists in Thailand. We would like to therefore use the main channels of Facebook as well as in Instagram, because we know there's an emerging trend in Southeast Asia for the use of that. Next, we would also like to provide a gap between, or a bridge between offline and online integration. We have 3 options how to actually do this. First, it would be a QR shopping wall, and second, pop-up stores. So let me dive deeper into the QR shopping wall. Every one of us once in a while goes on the SkyTrain or on the airport. So we suggest you to put posters where consumers can scan with their phones those codes, and then they immediately can order their products online. So you can do it when you have the time on the SkyTrain. You scan the code and order the product you would like to order. And second, we have the idea of pop-up stores. Here in Bangkok, we have the Siam Paragon Mall, which is a very, very big mall with the most Instagram coverage on Earth. So we suggest you to have a pop-up store in that mall where consumers can experience and feel the items they want to sell, the clothes. Because that's the difference between online shopping. You cannot try on and looks how it suits you. So therefore, we have the idea of those those pop-up stores where the customers can actually go and experience the clothes. There, we will also provide iPads where the consumer can directly order the products. So they don't feel so inconvenient sitting at home and do not know what to do and how to order it. Talking about how to deliver the value to the customer. We have 3 different initiatives for that. The first one would be how we deliver the services. Therefore, we came up with a two-zone delivery strategy and also a 7-Eleven pickup service. So let me first dive into the diversified delivery strategy. We know that in Thailand we have a few metropolitan areas like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket. There, the infrastructure is already very well developed. So therefore, we believe the lead time for the products to actually reach a customer would be around 2 to 5 days. And you can also provide home delivery. But there in Thailand, there's also a lot of rural areas where the infrastructure will not be that well developed yet. So this makes the transportation of the goods a little more complicated. Therefore, we encouraged a longer lead time of 5 to 10 working days, as well as a 7-Eleven pickup service. So the customer can decide at what 7-Eleven store they would like to pick up the items they ordered. So this is Nacha again, and she's really happy about this because how convenient. She can pick up her clothes, the items she ordered, 24/7 hours, 7 times a week at 7-Eleven whenever she wants to. Next, we suggest you to engage in a partnership with TNT. TNT has established a huge road network, not only all over Thailand, but also all over Southeast Asia. So therefore, we will reach our customers very effectively, flexible, and also with a high reliability. Next, we also would like you to focus on a return policy. Because people are not used to ordering on the internet, we believe this is a very important term. So if Nacha orders something and she doesn't like the item, she can return it really quickly while she's bringing it back to a 7-Eleven branch nearby, and they will take care of sending it back to our warehouses. Now, moving on to the next pillar, to receive value, I will hand over to my colleague.
Thank you. Thank you, Maike. So after you have established the first 2 pillars of our suggested strategy and value chain, it's now to receive value for your company, but also about how the clients receive value. So we suggest you to offer additional payment options to the end consumers. This is because people in Thailand are not very favorable to credit card payments and also not to online banking. So additionally to PayPal and credit card, you should consider options as the 7 card or cash delivery service. The 7 card would be very handy and easy for your consumers, since they can get it for free while registering in the 7-Eleven supermarket and charging it every time either online or in the supermarket itself. They can also exploit many other shops all over Thailand because the 7 card is connected to the Smart Purse network. The only thing you have to do is to open a business bank account at the Kasikorn Bank. To give you a short glance on how the 7 card is using for the customer, you can see that they can charge it between 50 and 10,000 baht, and also receive discounts and premiums depending on points they collect with every purchase, every transaction, and every receipt all over the SmartPurse network. Wrapping up our DKSH value chain, after you have enhanced, delivered, and received value, by using your existing resources and networks, targeting customers as Natcha, and also focusing on new online needs of the clients, you will become, indeed, Thailand's leading e-commerce service provider with the market share we show you here. Also, by taking on this opportunity, you will succeed in solving challenges of the industry. But when to do what? We suggest you to implement all previous explained tactics immediately, because the e-commerce service is an emerging need and you need to respond very quickly. Otherwise, maybe competition will arise and you will lose your foothold in Thailand and Southeast Asia. You see that our target is already reached after 2015, and we will even grow further until 21% market share after 2018.
Thank you, Corinna. So, what can you do once you leave this room? You can inform your clients about your new e-commerce services. You can call TNT and make contracts with them. You call 7-Eleven, establish delivery, pick up and join 7-Card group. And of course, you call Kazicom Bank to open up a business account. So once you are successful in Thailand, what do you do next? You can go and expand it to the other ASEAN countries. In Malaysia and Singapore, for example, the e-commerce market is as fast growing as in Thailand, and DKSH is as well really good established and present in this market. And you can also start immediately to analyze the Indonesian market, which has a high internet penetration, but DKSH is not that present there yet. You can analyze if your clients would like to go in that market. Okay, now we talked about our strategies, our tactics. How did it look like in numbers? So we have this 36.5% in Thailand net sales. There are approximately 120 million bots. So compared to the market size of the e-commerce in Thailand, this is really low. So you have a lot of space to go upward. And we have several assumptions, of course. We will consider a time span of 5 years, and we will also ask for a 3% sales share from our clients. And we expect that 10% of the clients will be using the e-commerce service in the very first year. How do we finance all that? Well, DKSH Thailand has only 200,000 baht in capital, but DKSH Group in total has around 11 million baht in cash. So I think financing won't be any problem. If you take enhanced value and Instagram as social media content as an example, we see that 1.4 million users are here in Thailand. And if we expect that 1% of them will increase their buying behavior according to our advertisement. And this will be then steady by 3% until the end of the 5 years. If we take Nestle, for example, and a price of 45 to 125 baht for one product, we can see that their sales can grow up to 2.5 million until 2018. What does that mean for DKSH? Of course, a 3% sales share from all the clients, the 10% taken together, and the net income, which will not that strongly be decreased, as internet advertisement is not that expensive nowadays. We have also the other example, deliver value of 7-Eleven and TNT. Well, 7-Eleven has 7,651 stores in whole Thailand. And TNT offers different shipping fees. And we took Zalada as an example, which is not that old in the Thailand market, is pretty new from last year. And they have 100,000 visitors a day, and 5% of that are buying each day. And 30% of those customers buying pick up the orders at 7-Eleven. So we expect pragmatically that 15% of the consumers out from our clients will pick up the orders at 7-Eleven. Effect on DKSH, well, now you see that our net incomes are negative. But we think this is not a problem, as the shipping fees are really high. From pragmatic to optimistic scenario, you can see that it really increased by a huge number. But we think it's most important to set up relationships and to get our clients to the market as fast as possible. So we think that during the 5 years you can also think about discounts of TNT or involve the consumer. The client can offer things like above 500 baht, they don't have to pay a shipping fee anymore, below they have to. Okay. So you see the expenses are way more higher than the revenues, but they are growing. They will continue growing after 2018. If you take our advertisement and marketing campaign into account, you see that even the pessimistic scenario, the NPV for DKSH is still positive. Worth also concerning the investment of 1.8 million for a software program, which could, for example, Perceptus provide you. Okay, now we'll hand over to Corinna.
Thank you, Katja. Talking about risks, the company itself defines its biggest risk that the client wants to manage the processes himself as soon the service is established. This you, of course, don't want. Also, if you think that the risk level and therefore the probability is very low, we thought about a mitigation strategy, which would be a 5-year contractual agreement, so to bind the client to you as DKSH and therefore not give him the opportunity to get loose soon. Now I would like to wrap up our presentation. You see that your business model has improved by implementing the value chain. By adding online services to key processes, the customers and clients will better receive the value from your services. Summing up, you need to implement the DKSH value chain to overcome business and industry challenges. For this, you need to implement social media marketing, offline and online integration, as well as diversified delivery systems and partnership with TNT and additional payment options, so that you will indeed become Thailand's leading service provider in e-commerce with more than 18% market share. So we have showed you where your value is, so the decision should be easy. Thank you for your attention, and we are now happy to take you through the Q&A. Khap khun ka.
In terms of customer experience, since you have a single page or a separate page for each brand, so how do you provide the value-adding services for consumer who would like to compare the prices, different models across different brands? Are you going to tackle this problem?
I would like to take this question. So the idea would actually be, can you maybe guide me to the Clark side of how the website would look? Okay, so the idea would actually be that we design a web shop for every customer on its own. So the customers don't see from each other that they are actually using the service. So this way you also would not exclude competitors between each other. So it just, if you would then click on Thailand, then it would come in our hands. This is how we work. So price, does this answer your question?
In a lot of the online websites, I could actually compare different brands for the same or similar products, so that I could pick the brand I like with the best price, so which is one of the characteristics of the online consumer. So just wonder how would you going to add that service in your website?
The thing is that at the moment it's mostly brands who are involved. So for example, Clark's has a fixed price in general, at least on their official website. It's the official price, like the advised consumer price. So then this issue would be resolved.
If I may add on to that question, we found out that many consumers, also in Thailand and Southeast Asia, still want to buy at the brand itself. So of course there are e-commerce platforms as Zalando and also like Amazon, but we found out that they are not completely satisfied with this option, because often they have doubts about the quality and about return policy. So we would give our clients the opportunity to sell the quality products directly to the customers in Southeast Asia by offering this online option.
Okay. Actually, you said that people like to buy from the brand site, right? Actually, they like to buy the cheapest one, wherever they are. Okay. And because you mentioned you're gonna use social media to integrate it with your e-commerce and Facebook and Instagram. Can you tell me how you're gonna do that? And also QR code. Actually, it's good for marketing. It's not good for actual purchasing. It's not work. Because many companies in Thailand, they did it before. And it also, and you see the Big C is a sponsor here. They did some QR code and no one used. For me, I do it too. No one used.
Well, the central idea for our social media campaigns would be content marketing. So we really believe in creating content where people genuinely believe in. So this we want to do with the two main channels like Facebook, because this already has a huge user base, 24 million in Thailand only. And Instagram, because this Instagram has a growth rate in Thailand of 900%. So this is a promising platform. But of course, we will also add on with channels like YouTube or Twitter, Pinterest, just to make the full package. So the purpose is that people follow a certain brand because they are really interested. And this, it has mostly brand value, branding purposes. And in the long run, this will then give results. So we have some examples how to fill this content creation in. So we could do some viral video campaigns. Of course, with a video campaign, you never know if it eventually will go viral, but that would be the purpose. And then the standard stuff, giveaways, discounts, celebrity endorsement, the combination of this all would then give the desired result.
Thank you. Just a question on my side. Thanks again for the presentation and the information that you've gone through, quite a lot of information and detail that you've worked on. Well done. I really like the slide that you presented around the risk mitigation side of things. And could you tell me more about potential risks within DKSH in terms of your strategy and recommendation? Because a lot of the risks I see here are very much external. What do you think the key internal ones might be, and how might you mitigate that?
Could I take the question? Yeah, if you want. Well, one risk that I could think of is, for example, TNT. If you contract with them and then, well, you can also do it yourself somehow. You can also establish a delivery express service on your own. Then you would gain all the revenues and sales for yourself. But here you make yourself dependent from TNT and their fees. Of course, this is a risk, but where to start off? You get your ideas from TNT. You can copy later their ideas and how they do it, but this is just one point where you can start. That was one idea, thank you.
I just got a question regarding the potential you showed. I think if I understood you correctly, you assume 5% could move into this direction. So if you look at different categories, we serve within consumer goods. So which kind of categories you think would be most attractive for such a model in terms of where clients would like to establish such a presence? And which might be categories where it might be less attractive?
Thank you. I'm happy to take that question. Well, we believe that it is first of all most convenient for luxury items, especially in the rural areas. You will not have the access to the malls, and which we have here in Bangkok. So those people who will still like to gain access to luxury products, it really makes sense to order it online, and then they can pick it up at the 7-Eleven store. So what we thought about is focusing on items like clothes, purses, sunglasses, so really like majorly luxury or clothing items. For fast-moving consumer goods, it might be not that efficient to send them all the way to a 7-Eleven store so that they can buy it. So we rather want to focus with the strategy on luxury products. Does that answer your question? Yeah, thank you.
I had a quick question around some of the partnerships that you propose, especially with 7-Eleven. How would you pitch this to 7-Eleven in terms of what they get out of it? Let's say 7-Eleven says, I just don't want stuff coming to all my stores. And what's your contingency? Let's say 7-Eleven says, we're not interested.
It would definitely generate extra store traffic. So this would be the main argument for 7-Eleven to take part in this.
Okay, if I can add on. And as well, we also thought that if 7-Eleven sees how good it works out, that we saw with Salado, that 30% of their sales, their customers go to 7-Eleven even to pick it up, then we think maybe someday not even our clients can profit from our e-commerce service, but also 7-Eleven. Maybe we can also set up an online page for 7-Eleven someday, and then they see that this really works out, so you can order your products, even fast-moving consumer goods, to be delivered home, or you just order it already and it's packed. You just step into the shop and it's already done. You just pick it up. That was also the idea.
I guess, is there a contingency if they say no?
Well, we also know that Family Mart is increasing in Southeast Asia. So if 7-Eleven would not like to contract with us, we can think about contracting with Family Mart, which also has an increasing customer base here in Thailand. So this would be our contingency if they do not like to do that.
Thank you. I see that you've put a lot of thoughts in the implementation and choices of partners. If you would like, can you help summarize how your strategy is based on any unique strength of current DKSH? How is this linked to current operation and your strength, and how would DKSH become a service provider that can differentiate itself?
To answer this question, I would like to take you back to the business model we analyzed. So you see strength of the company. This is an analysis for the company DKSH itself. So you can see key resources where it is very strong are the large distribution network already established in Southeast Asia, as well as strong client and customer relations, market insights and knowledge through those network effects and this one. So this, or does it?
I think my question is the strategy that you're recommending hinges a lot upon different partnerships, right? And it doesn't really leverage anything that you currently have except your client base. So can you explain to me how this strategy will work beyond just tapping on your current client base?
Okay. Let me think about it. Okay. So the infrastructure around ASEAN countries is not that good, but DKSH is one of the leading market expansion companies already connecting clients to customers and is really strong in the Asian region. So we think upon this we have a benefit, and then then we have it easier to establish the e-commerce service because we can link it to the benefit that we already have. Because the infrastructure is so bad, but we still manage to be the leading market expansion service company.
Does this answer your question?
Are there any more questions? If not,
hold on. Just question about 18% market share. Seems like very high for the first year. How do you come up with that number, or how would that be possible?
Yeah, first of all, we looked up e-commerce, which is also a competitor, but more for an e-commerce platform for the consumers. They already have 14% market share already with all e-commerce sales. So we thought that if our marketing campaign is going to be profitable, it's going to be successful, then we took the revenues that we could achieve with such brands like Nestle and Clarks and other brands, and then we took the market size, the current market size of the e-commerce market in Thailand, and then if you compare it, you can see it is possible to reach 18% if we are successful with our marketing. This is just an example how it can turn out. Does that answer?
Okay.
Probably last question. I think what's also interesting is not only which strategy you choose, but which one you didn't choose, and you had these two other options. One, the collaboration model. So why didn't you propose the collaboration model?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that question. Now we have a slide for this, for the pro and cons, why we did not end up our own platform. Because first, the benefits would be we would be more flexible. But on the other hand, it's also having, it's going to be a risky investment, especially since we don't know how the e-commerce market is going to go. We believe it is very beneficial in the future, but still investing very much now into our own platform might not be the right idea, especially seeing and having the market into consideration. Also, we will have a lot of very diverse client base. So we believe to have all those diverse products on one platform will probably not be that efficient. We rather want to have this direct contact between the client and the customer on their own website and not externalizing that. Does that, and would you also like to know it for the other strategy, or? Sorry.
Last thing to add on, okay, because you mentioned you use a 7-Eleven card, right? They allow you to use online, or they use in the 7-Eleven?
Yeah, the consumer, as I mentioned, is able to recharge the card in every 7-Eleven shop all over Thailand, as we first go to Thailand, and also online. So there's a web page on the normal 7-Eleven web page where they can just click recharge, dial in the number of the card, and then load between 50 baht minimum and 10,000 baht. And they can also do online what you can see here on the right. If they went to the 7-Eleven and forgot their card, they can just take the receipt and dial in the number of the receipt and get the bonus points. So it's a 2-channel system.
Okay, but you mean to use a 7 card in online too, right? Or in the 7-Eleven shop, right?
You get either, if in the this again adds on the 2-area model. So in the areas where the people use 7-Eleven as a pickup point, you will take your card with you when you pick up your package at the 7-Eleven to receive the points. And if it's Bangkok, for example, where you receive your package to the door, you can either use the receipt or enter it, or do it already when you use the card to pay online. It's for paying as well. And it's like a credit card, but rechargeable.
But be careful, because when we use a payment, each card payment, they have a different kind of a commission, a fee.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that how much the 7-Eleven they're charging. I think they charge a lot.
If you want to see, we compared the different payment options.
Really? Wow. Okay. Good.
So let me quickly show it to you. Here. Yeah. That's how we elaborated why it's useful to have a 7 card or the cash payment, because this was also a question we posed to ourselves. So we found out that PayPal charges 4.4% per transaction plus 10 baht per sale. The credit card provider normally charges 3% per sale, and the 7 card charges, charges 6% in total, which is 3 plus 3 because they get it per transaction. So the first transaction is from the consumer to the 7-Eleven. If they give the card in the 7-Eleven and pay there, and the next transaction is from the bank we use to the client, because there's like 2 ways. With the direct payment at the client, it would be only 1 transaction. And then the easiness for us, we also elaborated on, so it would be easiest to have an online service and not collecting. And also the reach in Thailand is best with cash because people are used to it, but the card is also very popular and poses less risk for the customer than PayPal or credit cards. So we chose this as the best option for DKSH to do payment options.
Are there any more questions? If not, thank you, Visio Consulting. Well, that's it now.